So, hello everybody. Welcome back to Cosmic Connections and Cosmic Conversations. And today we're in conversation with Narissa, who is a sound healer. And I will hand it over to her to introduce herself.
Hello, greetings, Earthlings, and others that may be watching. My name is Narissa. I also go by the name Earth Child when doing my spiritual work. Yeah, I am, as Devialini shared, sound healing practitioner, sound alchemist, and I do wear a few hats. So I guess I could share those. I do love to share meditation and mindfulness, both in my daily practice and with others. Breathing techniques through pranayama, hatha yoga. I love organizing retreats and conscious community gatherings. Personally, I think my favorite personal practices are sitting in nature, going for a hike and then sitting in nature and meditating, really connecting with the earth energy, which is why I use the name Earth Child, or a little bit of why. There's a whole story. And sound and vibration. I love to use these tools to take myself and others to deep places of our souls and realization and healing and ascending into our own wisdom, seeing the truth for ourselves. So earth, silence and meditation, and sound.
Yeah, you emanate such a peaceful energy. Even the first time that I met you, which was in Lamu, I think. I think it was one of your first Lamu Yoga Retreat Festival. And
Yeah.
I was completely blown away at the time with your work. But you said that there is a story behind this Earth Child. So tell us, share your story with us.
Gosh, I have so many stories. Story of Earth Child, story of how I came into healing, story of why I'm doing even the conscious community building work. There's so many stories, but personal spiritual journey. So yeah, but for the Earth Child, I think really speaking, my spirituality has always intuitively and since childhood centered around nature. Since being a small kid, I used to love insects and hiking and camping. I used to bring insects home. So I really millipedes as my friends and pets. But I've always felt that nature is my guide in everything that I do. And this is first and foremost on my personal journey. So whenever I need guidance, maybe I look to the moon. When I need grounding, I sit on the earth. When I need cleansing, I go to the ocean and either go into the ocean or listen to the waves and feel them cleansing me. etc. When I need strength, I go to the mountain. So I feel in so many ways nature holds me and guides me through life. And now also in my healing practice, I work very deeply with the earth energy and the different elements. And so the reason that I call myself Earth Child is because I feel like it's a name of humility, in that I am child, and the earth, the Mama Earth, is my guide and my teacher, my primary teacher. And the energy with which I work with. And also child is reflecting the playful nature with which I interact with the world and invite others to.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And I think what you said is really true, because if all of us allow ourselves to, the earth can really guide us and give us strength and give us whatever we need at that point in time. And I find that when I meditate in nature, it's such a profound experience. So I have a tree outside my house that I connect with all the time. And when I take the time to actually spend time there, even though it's in the city, it's such a beautiful experience. So what I want people to take out of this is that, you know, they don't have to go into a forest necessarily, although that is beautiful. If you can do it, that's great. But if you just sit on the grass outside of your home, that is enough. It's just, it's the earth's energy that you want to channel through you.
Hmm.
So tell us a little bit about your spiritual journey. How did you come to this work? What has been your experience?
I would I would say my spiritual journey started really. I would say it was started with my father. My dad introduced me to meditation. He taught me my first meditation technique.
Wow.
Um, yeah, which is actually I believe it's a Sufi technique that he taught me, and yeah, and he's actually been my inspiration for dedication to my spiritual practice, because he does get up every morning at 4 a.m. and meditates. So he is a role model for me in spiritual dedication. And so meditation, I think I was introduced to at a young age, and I'm so grateful for that, because it is one of my primary practices. And I think through life, I yeah, grew up in I guess a close knit spiritual community in Nairobi, and over the course of my years, got exposed to many different belief systems and this and that, and sort of struck out on my own search and my own path. And how did I get to? I think honestly, there were times where I kind of threw everything out and found my own path, to be honest. And that really started, I think, in December 2015, January 2016, which is when I had really rejected a lot of spirituality. And I sat my first Vipassana retreat um, at that time, and it just shifted everything. The 10-day silent retreat, and it just brought me back into that realization and seeing the truth in myself, and seeing that there is something beyond this physical. So I came into that, and then 1 year and 1 month later, it's always been happening around 1 year and 1 month. It's like every 13 months something big happens. So 1 year and 1 month after that, I was in the Amazon, sitting with Mama Ayahuasca, the mother of all plant medicines, and she taught me so much. And yeah, I still hold her lessons and her guidance with me till date. And then it just kept escalating. There was something happening every year and a month. And then the big thing was in November 2017, my best friend from childhood, my soul sister, departed this earth unexpectedly at a very young age. And this sent me into my own huge grieving process, trying to understand what was going on. And I, being a backpacker, which is another one of my hats, which I didn't mention, so I'll share those with you later. But I got this like intuition from her that she would want me to go on more travels. So I was in Southeast Asia. I intended to be there for 3 months. I ended up staying 5 months. And the whole time I was just trying to understand why, where is my friend? Where did she go? Why did she die so early? What is the purpose of all of this? What's going on? Trying to find myself, lots of, and attending many different healing sessions. So I went to all these places like Rishikesh, and then Nepal. I was in Thailand. I was in Koh Phangan, and I got to take all these different practices. And I managed to attend my first ever sound healing live when I was in Thailand. And oh my goodness, my life has never been the same. So many of these different holistic modalities of healing really helped me to process the grief and move through it. And when I went for the sound healing, it was a group sound healing with actually several different facilitators, and I entered into a trance. And in the trance, I saw certain souls that I'd sat with in a cave on a mountain, and they welcomed me back and directed me on this journey. And so the next day, or in the next few days, I signed up for some courses, And yeah, I took some sound healing trainings, and I've not looked back since. It's been over 5 years that I've been pretty much full-time or almost full-time sound healer. And all that I want to do is just keep studying it and keep connecting with the sounds and the instruments. I keep adding to my instruments. Now I've taken up, singing classes and getting more serious with my flute classes and working with the singing bowls, saving up for a big gong to get by the end of the year when I go back to Nepal. So yeah, I actually attribute a whole shift in how my life looked, which I can also share later about sort of the conscious community building work, but a whole shift. And I really attribute it to my friend and her guidance, and how she's guided me through the grief of her leaving, and in my own healing process. Like I know many others on this healing journey. I now want to share this with others. Yeah.
That's really beautiful. So you mentioned that you've done an ayahuasca ceremony. Can you talk a little bit more about that? And for those of us who don't know what that is all about, can you explain it?
Yeah, so when we were talking about nature and how we can learn so much from nature, I was also just thinking how we can learn from everything. The animals, the dogs, the cats, the insects, like everything can teach us. The flower, if you just sit and just lose that human ego a little bit and learn from these amazing creatures and plants. And now we get to the master plants. So there are all kinds of herbs and plants that can heal us and teach us, and certain of these plants have a very high intelligence. And I'm telling you, not even I believe, but I know that these plants actually have higher intelligence than us humans, honestly. And so there are these master plants, and I know that they're worked with a lot in the Amazon and a lot of the traditional indigenous people of the Amazon and those parts of the world, also in the mountains in Latin America. But these plants, basically, when you commune with them or you take these plants, you go into a very deep inner journey, and I don't even know how to explain it, but they open your eyes, they open your soul to see beyond the illusion. It's so funny. It's very difficult to explain, but someone who is atheist will take this plant and become spiritual, will suddenly be able to connect with trees. If you're in maybe a job that's not resonating, likelihood is you'll quit within a few months and you'll start doing something you love. You need to heal from something, these plants will help you to heal. They help you to access the subconscious and beyond and do this deep work on yourself. And it's not easy, it's not a joke, it's very intense, and it's not for everyone, and you don't have to do it to go on your deep spiritual journey. You can get to those places through meditation. And personally also, I do believe that these plants, for example, for me, they have shown me things, shown me where I can get to in my own meditation, because I believe in doing that practice daily to be able to constantly embody that state in my own being without depending on an external factor. But they have taught me things and they guide. So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And in terms of your work for Conscious Kenya, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Conscious Kenya, I would say that maybe I can give another story.
Sure.
Full of stories. So I think conscious community building is part of my life purpose, I would say, in the same way that creating healing sounds is. So when I was younger, growing up in Nairobi and seeing so much inequality, I never understood it as a kid. It just didn't make any sense. And growing up, that turned into anger, and that led me into a path of becoming an activist, a social justice and an environmental activist. So I had several years in the activist scene where we're really, really trying to, push against the systems that oppress us. And it's like you take 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 4 steps forward. It's back and forth, and it's very, very painful and difficult because you care so much, and
And frustrating.
It's frustrating. People hit burnout. People are going through so much internal trauma in that scene. And so the shift that happened, again, that I attribute to my best friend, and her guidance when she passed and how she held me through it and continues to guide me till date. I was going to take up a pretty intense human rights job when this happened, and now here I am as a sound healer. I shifted, and also with that ayahuasca journey, something shifted in me. That anger went, and the reactivity went, and the intention now became to create afresh, to move and work and be from in commune from a state of love. So instead of, oh, the system is terrible, let's fight it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, connect to infinite source of divine love, understand everyone is on their journey, and let's dream up something new and create that. So this is how the process went along. And I think the whole time something, I don't know whether it's in my astrology or my human design, but I've always been a convener of community. I bring people together for a cause. And this is reflected throughout my work, environmental justice, and various other things. But now it's come into conscious community building, people who are on that spiritual journey. And for me, I actually see it as a merging of my two paths, like the life of, justice and, revolution and all of that, and the life of going within to really improve yourself and not be a hypocrite, because a lot of hypocrites out here. So really bring the two together, where you're working from that true space, you're healing yourself, you're supporting others to heal, and dreaming up and creating a new and beautiful world based on love. So this is, for me, where we're at. And this is the basis of Conscious Kenya. So the co-founder of Conscious Kenya with myself is Eddie, or Edgar Kimati. And many years ago, he started a group called Meditation Nairobi, and they used to meet in the Arboretum. And independently, before I even knew him, I was convening another group in the Arboretum called Spirituality Beyond Religion. Then when we met, we said, okay, let's start doing this together. So we merged our communities, and we used to continue doing those gatherings of either meditation or other spiritual exploration, drum circles, talking about herbs, blah, 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 sound healing, etc. And then COVID hit. And so Eddie, who actually has a background in coding and SEO and digital marketing and website design and all of that, said, okay, well, let's take this online. And then we said, okay, well, let's make it bigger than just Nairobi. Let's take it to the entirety of Kenya with a bigger vision of the entirety of Africa.
So when did you start this? When did it go online?
What year? Was it 2019 or 2020?
2020 was when COVID hit. So yeah.
It must have been 2020 then.
Yeah.
Okay, it was 2020. So 3 years ago. Yeah. And so he designed this whole platform. And then we started off by doing, an online festival. And then when the COVID restrictions started to lift, we managed to start having more gatherings in person. And so we share, different healers. Actually, the directory, there's a directory of wellness practitioners, and actually any good wellness practitioner is welcome to join, welcome to sign up. And then what we do is we share what they do with the conscious community. So many people just sign up, join the website, either on the WhatsApp groups or the newsletter or the website, and then we send them information about the different healers and their events and their sessions, and people can book through the website. So it also supports healers to do what they love, because I know a lot of healers do their work as like a part-time, and they're like, oh, I don't know if I can live off it. But this is support to really help people to do what they love, and to kind of take care of the stuff that we don't like doing, like admin and logistics and marketing. And it's like, I just can't handle that stuff, and I'm gonna focus on my healing practice. So like Eddie's Instagram is Conscious Visionary, and I like to call myself Conscious Revolutionary, because this also feeds into my feeling that once this expands across Africa, it's basically a revolution of spiritual consciousness from
Yeah.
across the continent that the whole world can learn from. Yeah.
And that's the perfect segue to talk about consciousness in Africa. So my first question to you is we are in essence really such a corrupt society. We encounter it almost everywhere, and it's insidious, and the poverty is so disheartening. And there is such a big divide between um, the have and the have-nots. Um, what do you have to say about that?
Um,
What do we
about
need to do, sorry, as a country, as a continent, to move from this space of victimhood that we're so stuck in to a space of empowerment and freedom?
wow. So I think there is deep work on various levels that needs to be done here. I think um the thing is there I think we all know that there are systems that oppress us, and we've also seen that it doesn't always work to just try and fight them in the traditional sense. So at least where I'm at right now and where my understanding is at this moment is that if each one of us can work on uplifting our own consciousness and bring out our own true purpose on this earth and live in alignment with that, I do believe that that does translate to the entire earth being in harmony. So this involves doing deep healing work on the personal level, which then translates into how we interact with the world, how we interact with those close to us, those at work, those further away. You're not going to stay, if you're coming into alignment with your true purpose, you're not going to stay in a line of work that doesn't resonate with you. So you're going to move into doing what you're meant to be doing. And if everyone is playing their true role in society and has done that inner work, so we're not being cruel to each other, we're not being rude, we're not being disrespectful, we are accepting, we're not judging, we are loving, we're living in harmony with the earth, we're not disrespecting the earth. I see this as a collective consciousness shift in how we interact with each other. So the way that I see it is each person taking that responsibility for themselves, and then not just sitting and doing nothing with it, also taking action in the external world to support others on that journey and do whatever it is your calling is, to support the collective consciousness to rise, which I see it rising. I see it rising.
Yeah.
There is, and I think everyone can see it. People are tapping into their intuition. People are becoming more conscious about what they eat, how they interact with the earth. People are rejecting and boycotting things that they don't want to consume. They're forcing corporates to become a bit more conscious about what they're doing. People are forming alternative spaces to live, alternative eco-villages, alternative places to commune and be in truth. So for me, this is the way that makes sense for the collective consciousness, and it transcends distance, it transcends language, which is why I'm also very passionate about the idea of coming together as the collective consciousness of the continent. We do not even need to speak when we are on that level. We can understand each other through our thoughts. We can understand each other through love. We can understand each other through music, through communing, through eating together, through being kind to each other. You don't need to speak the same language. You don't need to be in the same place. If we're sitting here, you're sitting at the coast, I'm sitting on the outskirts of the city, we are connected right now. Yeah. And we can also connect with someone who's in Ghana right now. We can connect with a monk in the mountains, and we can feel them, and we can, it's magic, And I just feel like we need
to
really
come
into that and bring it into this world and embody it, and also create that change in this world consciously while working on yourself. It's like both inner work and outer work simultaneously, not just one.
Yeah, that's very true.
And it looks different for each person.
What about connecting with people who are not yet on this spiritual path, making them more conscious, making them more aware? How do you think that's going to work?
So one thing that I have learned is if someone is not seeking or trying, you can't, first of all, you can't force anyone. So if someone is not ready to take that step at this moment, they won't, they can't be forced. But by working on yourself and changing the way you interact with those around you, who start to then change, and even the people who are not ready or ready for it, they will see it and they will consider it. Oh, maybe I should try this. And there may be some people who will not even consider it in this lifetime, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, the, the
Yeah.
timelines are huge, but we do what we can as a collective. And I do also believe in the power of numbers. That's where the revolutionary in me comes in. The more of us that are uplifting this, the harder it'll be for people to resist the way the consciousness is moving up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to agree with that. But what really resonated with me was this idea of you being the change that you want to see. So you start at the at your level, at your personal level, and then kind of move outward. And as you become more aware of who you truly are, everyone around you will shift with that vibration. And I have found that, this whole idea of vibration can shift from day to day, literally. You can be really happy one day and really upset the next, and that doesn't mean that you're going down on the vibrational level. Sometimes it just means that this feeling that you're feeling is coming up for healing, and so you need to just allow it to move through you. And yeah, I mean, it's been an incredible journey for me as well. But I really want to talk about this conscious Kenya, because I find it such an intriguing idea for Africa, because I honestly think that with your organization, you could probably move into corporates and truly make a difference. Because honestly, I think the way that corporates are structured at the moment is almost psychotic, because
Yeah.
it's awful. I mean, I worked in the corporate world for 17, 18 years, and I can tell you that I was really unhappy, which is not to say that I was unhappy all of the time, but overall it was not fulfilling, because it was a very uh, it's never enough what you do kind of environment, right? And I think people need to feel supported, and people need to feel like they're worth something. And that, I think, is the fundamental change that needs to occur in corporates. And yeah, I mean, how do we achieve that?
Yeah. I think there are definitely ways to move into, yeah, shifting the way the big boys work. But yeah, actually we have been putting together a corporate wellness program, which will probably be launched this month. Actually, yeah, I think it's going to be launched this month. Working with various different healing practitioners that are on the platform. And in certain spaces, um and also with people who are not fully deeply on this journey, you start off with something very simple or basic, or like an easy access route that they can relate to. And then
Yeah.
as you start to go into that, the deeper things start unlocking. um so so this is how it is, and we have different practitioners who will teach on the different levels. So that is something that is ongoing. And actually, so something interesting, when I work with the singing bowls, I have one of them here just in case anyone is wondering what they look like, right? So the cool thing that happens when I work with singing bowls is sometimes I'll work with people who are completely scientifically minded and not looking into this energy side of things at all. So I'll share the scientific benefits of the sound healing. But when I take you into that journey and you get into that state of somewhere between awake and asleep, you get into a different brain state and you start to access, and your subconscious starts to come into play. You experience something that you can't really explain with science. And then there you go. You're curious and you want to go deeper, and then the damage is done.
Oh, I like that. Well, I have heard it said by several channelers that spirituality and science are different sides of the same coin. It's just that humanity has not yet come to a space where they understand the connection quite yet. We are getting there, but it's not entirely clear. But I mean, science now proves, for example, that your heart contains the same kind of cells that your brain does. So your heart has intelligence. They've now proved, for example, that if that that particles that are really long distances apart can communicate with each other. And it's incredible work. And some of this work actually was done in the 40s and the 60s. It's just that it's coming to light now. And I mean, the scientific work that we are unaware of is actually really incredible. That body of work is really, really incredible, because when I first came to this work, I came actually through becoming aware of um, the forces that oppress us, so to speak. And I think everybody who is in this field understands what those are. So I don't think we need to go into that. But um, and for a while, I was really angry because I thought to myself, oh my God, how could I not have been aware of this stuff? And it really makes sense how, we're so manipulated by media, by, the news that we see, and everything is designed to bring our vibrations down. And for almost a year and a half, I think I was totally, totally angry. And then I came across, I don't know if you've heard about A Course in Miracles.
I have heard of it, yeah.
Okay. So I've been a student of A Course in Miracles for, I don't know, 6, 7 years now. And that changed the way I look at things. Just like you had the realization that you need to come from a place of love, because changing something from the same vibration it was created at is not the solution. You're not going to find the solution there. You have to be of a higher vibration to find a solution, and the solution is going to come from each one of us. And so I love that you've started this Conscious Kenya, because honestly, I think that more and more people are coming to realize that the life they live is not the life that they want, and they're not happy. And happiness is a choice, but it comes from healing, and it comes from healing the traumas that you have, that you're holding, not just from this lifetime, but from previous lifetimes as well. So it's such a beautiful thing that you're doing. Um, is there anything that you want to share with our viewers?
Um, about the conscious community, I would say that it is it's something that's created by all of us. So yeah, I mean, it might be that Eddie and I started this thing called conscious. Really speaking, it's all of us. So a lot of people, I meet them and they're like, "Oh, Conscious Kenya is so cool. Can I join?" And I'm like, "You're already a part of it. You can join it, but you're already vibration. All of us." So yeah, that yeah. And I mean, if I had to share something specific with the viewers, I would just say I don't know. I just keep returning to this feeling of coming into this center. at all times and just tuning inwards. It's a conversation that I had this morning. The external world is always changing and shifting and moving, and often we can't control what's going on there. But coming in is the space where we can find our grounding, our peace, our truth, our love. Everything is here. So don't forget to always look within, no matter what is happening outside.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
I mean, your external world is really a reflection of you. And so if you change and change yourself and center yourself with your heart, then you'll find that your external world will start to change as well. And I think if we all realize that every one of us is an extension of us, then I think we would be as a society much more tolerant, much more kinder, all of these wonderful things. So Narissa, can we get a taste of your sound healing?
Yeah. So sure. I do have I think I brought this singing bowl. So I'll just give it one ring, then I could play you a little flute song.
Oh, that sounds
Um
wonderful.
I didn't bring all my equipment because it's a lot, and the computer mic won't take it. But this is a beautiful bowl that I'm guarding it for a friend who is away. So I'm the guardian of this bowl. And then I will also play a little bit of flute, so it can be a little meditation for the viewers. Maybe I
Yeah,
can play for
that
like a
sounds
minute.
wonderful.
Yeah, and okay, let me do that. Yeah, and also I'm pretty excited that I've recorded my first tracks and I'm about to put them online.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
yeah, meditation tracks. So when I get the link, I can share it with you and maybe you can drop it in the comments.
I
Yeah.
will for sure.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna get into the sun. I'm just accepting that the sun is here now. I've been trying to run from it, but here we are. So I'd like to invite anyone that's listening to just close your eyes. Close your eyes and tune in with the sensation of your breath. Tune into the sensations on your body, on the surface of your body, inside your body. Tune into your state of being right now. What are you feeling? What emotions are present in your body? What energy is present in your space? And I'll just take us through a small little flute meditation. A song for joy. This is a song for joy. Thank you.
So tell our viewers where they can find you and where they can find Conscious Kenya.
Okay, so to find me, my website is journeywithnari.com, and on the social medias as well, Instagram, Facebook, blah blah blah. It's at and YouTube at Journey with Nari, and my artist name on the different platforms is Earthchild Nari. So that's how you can find me and my music, as well as my writing, yeah, poetry and musings on spirituality and backpacking adventures. And Conscious Kenya can be found at consciouskenya.com and on social media as at Conscious Kenya. It's Conscious Kenya on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook. It's Conscious Kenya Official is the handle, but the name is Conscious Kenya. So yeah,
Okay,
and you can
wonderful.
easily, yeah, you can easily join the community on the website. It just says join the community, so you just click there and then you can join and then be updated on what's going on.
Okay, so
Yeah,
then you can the website obviously has all of the events that you're holding and all of the healers and all
yeah,
that kind of thing, right?
yeah.
Okay,
Thank
great. Well, thank you for this wonderful conversation. And
you.
yeah, it's been wonderful.
Yeah, thanks so much for doing this. I think it's amazing, and thank you for sharing your wisdom and insights and joy and blessings with the world.